Be ready. Start. The provisions of the tariff do not determine the relevant entity of the goods. They deal whether and under what entry the identified entity attracts duty. The goods are to be identified and then to find the appropriate heading, subheading under which the identified goods stroke products would be classified. To find the appropriate classification, description employed in the tariff nomenclature should be appreciated having regard to the terms of the headings read with the relevant provisions or statutory rules or interpretation put up thereon. For exigibility to excise duty, the entity must be specified in positive terms under a particular tariff entry. In its absence, it must be deducted from a proper construction of the tariff entry. There is neither intendment nor equity in a taxing statute. Nothing is implied. Neither can we insert nor can we delete anything, but it should be interpreted and construed as per the words the legislature has chosen to employ in the act or rules. There is no room for assumption or presumptions. The object of the parliament has to be gathered from the language used in the statute. Therefore, one has to gather its meaning in the legal setting to discover the object which the act seeks to serve and the purpose of the amendment brought about. The task of interpretation of the statute is not a mechanical one. It is more than mere reading of mathematical formula. It is an attempt to discover the intention of the legislature from the language used by it, keeping always in mind that the language is at best an imperfect instrument for the expression of actual human thoughts. It is also idle to expect that the draftsman drafted it with divine prescience and perfect and unequivocal clarity. Therefore, court would endeavor to eschew literal construction if it produces manifest absurdity or unjust result. The ordinary rule of construction is that a provision of a statute must be construed in accordance with the language used therein unless there are compelling reasons such as where a literal construction would reduce the provision to absurdity or prevent manifest intention of the legislature from being carried out. We are, however, unable to accept the submission. It is clear that meanings given to articles in a fiscal statute must be as people in trade and commerce conversant with the subject generally treat and understand them in the usual course. But once an article is classified and put under a distinct entry, the basis of the classification is not open to question. Technical and scientific tests offer guidance only within limits. Once the articles are in circulation and come to be described and known in common parlance, we then see no difficulty for statutory classification under a particular entry. It is a well settled principle of construction, as mentioned before, that where the word has a scientific or technical meaning and also an ordinary meaning according to common parlance, it is in the latter sense that in a taxing statute the word must be held to have been used unless contrary intention is clearly expressed by the legislature. But there is a word of caution that has to be borne in mind in this connection. The words must be understood in popular sense, that is to say, these must be confined to the words used in a particular statute, and then, if in respect of that particular items, as artificial definition is given in the sense that a special meaning is attached to particular words in the statute, then the ordinary sense or dictionary meaning would not be applicable, but the meaning of that type of goods dealt with by that type of goods in that type of market should be searched. In other words, if the word used in a fiscal statute is understood in common parlance or in the commercial world in a particular sense, it must be taken that the Excise Act has used that word in the commonly understood sense. That sense cannot be taken away by attributing a technical meaning to the word. But if the legislature itself has adopted a technical term, then that technical term has to be understood in the technical sense. In other words, if in the fiscal statute the article in question falls within the ambit of a technical term used under a particular entry, then that article cannot be taken away from that entry and placed under the residuary entry on the pretext that the article, even though it comes within the ambit of the technical term used in a particular entry, has acquired some other meaning in market parlance. Thank you.